Erika Kirk, Her Many Faces. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The narcissist shows many faces for two reasons. The first is that the narcissist, as a shapeshifter, as a chameleon, behaves in a particular way so that they present a particular image to certain people that maximizes the prospects of controlling that individual or individuals, drawing fuel from them, gathering character traits and residual benefits. So, by way of example, the narcissist may be the Jack the Lad when out with his friends. Then he's the pillar of the community come Sunday with attendance at church. That he is the corporate raider who eats what he kills at work. That he's the doting family man at home. That he is the dutiful son when he meets his parents. That he is the sex beast when he's with his mistress. That he shows all of these varying and different faces to different aspects of his life, which he's able to do by virtue of compartmentalization, and the fact that the false self that is being exhibited externally to all of those people can shift and change on a daily, hourly basis. The other aspect whereby the narcissist shows many faces relates to the question of hypocrisy, whereby the narcissist appears to be able to face lots of different ways at once. The reason for this is the necessity of the pursuit of the prime aims and compartmentalization. As you know from my work, that when it comes to all narcissists, they must be focused on what occurs in the moment. Aware narcissists, the greater and the ultra, have due regard for potential repercussions, which makes them far more effective and better at hiding what they are. But the vast majority of narcissists are unaware and are categorized between the lesser group and the mid-range group. What this means is that they are wholly focused on what is going on in that moment, and they don't care about what's gone before or what's going to happen next. Now, and now, and now is what matters. Accordingly, in order to gain control and draw fuel at this precise moment, the narcissist will present a particular view to an individual or individuals, will say particular things and behave in a particular way. Then, an hour later, because the situation has altered, but the need for control and fuel, etc. remains the same, the narcissist will behave in a different way in order to get those prime aims. Indeed, their behavior at 10 a.m. can be diametrically opposed to the behavior that they exhibited at 9 a.m. A simple example of that would be for the narcissist to say to you at 9 a.m., "I love you. You're the most wonderful person that I have ever met. I give thanks to my own personal God on a daily basis that I met you. I'm so pleased that we are together. I cannot imagine a life without you. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being in my life." All delicious flattery, because you're painted white, and the narcissist speaks in such terms to assert control over you and draw fuel from you by way of your thanks. At 10 a.m., you've done something to offend the narcissist's need for control. "I hate you. I wish I'd never met you. You're an absolute awful human being. You always make my life a misery. I don't know why I bother with you. I don't know why I see you." Notice that at that juncture, in order to assert control over you and draw fuel, the narcissism has selected a malign way of treating you through insult. There is no way that anybody naturally goes from the former position to the latter position in the space of an hour. It just doesn't happen. Unless, of course, they are a narcissist. And that is because neither position is genuine. It is just done as the appropriate thing in that moment to get to the prime aims. In other words, it's not fixed. It's not written in stone. It's not hammered into the bedrock. Non-narcissists, of course, can behave in a hypocritical fashion, but are less likely to do so because they are not preoccupied with control and fuel in the moment. They exhibit a greater consistency of their actions. Therefore, you will see that from hour to hour, day to day, they generally behave in a consistent fashion. The narcissist doesn't have such consistency. The only consistency that the narcissist has is the pursuit of the prime aims. Everything else can vary. Everything else can differ. Everything else can be up here or down there, so long as the prime aims are obtained. That means that if on the Monday, if it behooves the narcissist to say, for example, that they support a tax cut, they will say so. If by Thursday it behooves them to suggest that they need to raise taxes, they will say so. And they will not regard themselves as hypocritical because they don't recognize it, because the narcissism prevents them from doing so. If you present them with evidence of their hypocrisy, the first thing that you will be met with is denial. That didn't happen. I didn't say that. If you are, of course, able to provide credible evidence other than your say-so, for instance, a newspaper headline or a recording, you'll be met with fake news. I didn't say that. They've printed that. They've taken me out of context. Or, that's not me in the video. Or deflection. Why are you bringing this up now? You know how busy I am. I need your support. I don't need you causing trouble for me. I can't rely on you, can you? Get out of here. The fact is, the narcissist who is unaware will not be capable of recognizing the hypocrisy, stark and obvious that it is, because the narcissism will not allow the narcissist to do so, because if it did, the narcissist wouldn't get the prime aims. The major one being control would be lost. And we see this in relation to Erika Kirk, who exhibits various hypocrisies by virtue of the different faces that she wears. For instance, she has previously preached that women's highest calling is submission to a godly man and motherhood over professional pursuits, claiming women can have it all, just not simultaneously. Thus, she has preached that message, but what has she done? She's pursued a career as a New York realtor. She's launched multiple companies as a social entrepreneur, and she now leads Turning Point USA as CEO of a $92 million organization. She has completely done the thing that she spoke out against doing. She tells young women that college is a scam, that their ambition is shameful, and that they should prioritize obedience to holy men over higher education. Yet Kirk herself holds multiple degrees, is pursuing a third, and has benefited from the very feminist-enabled educational opportunities she now condemns. She publicly embodies a biblical wife role, hitherto having gazed adoringly at Charlie Kirk in videos and encouraged female submission. But her pre-marriage career focused on empowering young women, rejecting pageant stereotypes as Miss Arizona USA, and leveraging feminist advancements like professional independence, which are a complete contradiction of her current traditionalist stance. She advances Turning Point USA, which was founded by her husband, as a noble fight for faith and freedom. Yet, there are those that see it as a hate group that bullies women, LGBTQ plus individuals, immigrants, Muslims, and people of colour. Now, there is a degree of what is the perspective there. But once again, it demonstrates the difference between how the group is perceived and how she claims that it is. That, again, there appears to be a hypocrisy in what it's espoused as against what she has been talking about. She has cited Christian faith, whereby she forgives her husband's assassin publicly, yet she admits it doesn't extend to real reconciliation. For instance, sharing a meal or introducing her children or such like. In actual fact, she exhibits piety, but then in other instances has maintained spite. She preaches strict Christian values and traditional femininity, yet appears at public speaking events in leather pants, which clashes with her calls for women to embody submissive, modest archetypes. She, as a self-proclaimed biblical wife, promoted fidelity and warned against behaviours inviting scandal. Yet, what did we see in relation to her lingering embrace with Vice President J.D. Vance as she ran her fingers through his hair? If you want to avoid behaviours inviting scandal, you don't go and do that. It exhibits once again her hypocrisy. She wasn't always a staunch MAGA conservative. Her past as a pageant winner and empowerment-focused entrepreneur suggests a shift towards hyper-traditionalism post-marriage, seen as opportunistic to align with Charlie Kirk's brand rather than any genuine evolution. Early in her career, she built brands around young women's potential, but now uses subtle rhetoric against women-led initiatives and promiscuity, enforcing patriarchal norms, whilst holding power herself. Charlie Kirk railed against women marrying in their 30s or pursuing modern careers as a natural. Yet Kirk married at 31 after building a professional life, embodying the sexy liberal girl archetype her husband debated against, which was another hypocrisy. Erika Kirk is riddled with them, and the reason for it is that she has no sense of core self, although she doesn't recognise this. And it's because if in the moment it's necessary for her to say college education is shameful and a scam, she will do. And then later, if it means that she should pursue a college education and get multiple degrees, she can do so because she's allowed to do what she wants. And she doesn't see the obvious hypocrisy in that regard. By saying that women, that their highest calling is submission to a godly man because that's what the audience wants to hear and it allows her to control them and draw fuel, she does say so, but then she can pursue a different life to that which she's espousing because she's allowed to do what she wants as a consequence of her lack of accountability, and sense of entitlement. Hypocrisy is always found with the narcissist. It originates out of the necessity of control, etc. in the moment, and the necessity of facing whatever way is required to get to those prime aims. And it's no different for Erika Kirk. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.